Ladies and Japanese guitar lovers, yeah, so straight to the point, we've got an old one, of these to look at today, and it's got a little problem in the regard that it's falling apart. In the regard that, let's just take the strings off it. But somebody, for reasons best known to themselves, have a look at the pickups. I know. Why? Which I know are three excellent questions, but why would you take the pole pieces out? What's that all about? So, I don't know whether having pole pieces in will make any difference to the resistance reading, but let's have a look. Can we see the resistance-ometer? So we'll start with the bridge pickup. 2.8. It's not very good, is it? In the centre, 1.4. Over here, 2.9. So maybe it does make a difference. Maybe it doesn't, because they should be reading, 7s or 8s, something like that. So what should we do? We've got a couple of options, I guess. We can just not bother at all. That would be a decent one. So we can either try and find some pole pieces, maybe either out of knackered or discarded pickups, do that, or just put some decent pickups in that look the same. I've got some of those. Do you remember those LPJ that I bought that had those Tesla Sharks in it? And then I replaced those for some proper Gibson items. Could pop those in. That is probably preferable than looking for pole pieces. And they look the same, I think, if memory serves. Or like that. See? Don't know if the neck will fit though. So let's have because if it does, then that's got to be it's 4 screws. So let's see if that will accept the neck from this. So getting the neck on and off isn't really a... And now look at this. I've just noticed this. Look at the neck plate on there. Can you see? Yeah, Japan's upside down. That's been off before. I wonder why. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I don't care. So let's see if we can have this off. What I tend to do is start with a regular screwdriver. I'll be honest with you, I did have the fret rocker on it before, and it does have the wibbly wobblies. It's not terrible, but I wonder if with this neck plate being upside down, because the Japanese factories didn't usually make mistakes like that, so I'm just wondering, I don't know, if they made one good one out of 2. Because they didn't like the wibbly wobblies on the neck, and maybe didn't have the tools to sort it out. Who knows? But let's see. So the first thing that we want to know is well, the body except the neck. If it does, then we know what we're doing, don't we? Because I don't, are they all made by the same, or using the same bits? She's tight, boys. What do you think? Is it too tight? Is it too tight? Is that too tight? How tight is too tight? Tell you what, let's have it round this way, then you can have a proper look. Oh, really? I don't fancy it, to be honest with you. I could shave it down. No, that's a good. That is, I reckon that's a good 1/8 of an inch. So, option number 1. That is a no. Right, let's have a look. So a quick look at, let me get this into view for you. So a quick look at the pickups. So looking at them directly, can we see what's going on here? So if I get one on the hot and one to ground, it's still the absolute same there. So yeah, so those pickups, I would have to say, are for the bin. Happily, we have found, look at that, eh? Nice pair of Epiphone pickups. So we'll get those in, and you know, putting a pair of pickups in looks like it's 2 wires, isn't it? Right, okay, so that's a nice shiny pair of Epiphone 57s, I think they are. Let's have a look at. So we've got almost 14 on the treble side. We've got 5.5-ish in the centre, and more than 8.5 on the neck. Nice. Right. Speaking of necks, let's have a look at the neck. Okay, so so we'll get the fret rocker, that's this thing here, over the neck, and I'll try and keep my arm out of the way so that you can see what's going on. And that's a wobble there. It's not a bad one, but it's going to make a difference. So fret leveliness is what will cause choking and certainly buzzing. So usually what you'll find is if your frets are up there, okay, that's the first 3, it's okay. So the top 5 have got the wibbly wobblies. So you'll usually find is when you bend a string and it chokes, that this can, not always, but often be the cause. That's got the wobbles, that's got a big wobble. It's okay. That's got a wobble. That's okay. That's got a wobble. That's got a wobble. Bloody hell. Usually these Japanese necks are pretty good. That's alright. That's alright. I've got a wobble. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So we could. That's got a wobble. So I could get away with leaving the bottom 4 frets, but what's the point? I might as well do the lot. So what I'm going to use for this is a fret file, which is, you know, you run your finger over that and you can't feel anything at all, hardly. So it's a very, very, very fine tool. So that will get, you'll hear that clicking, clacking. That's when this straight edge is hitting an uneven fret. Have a listen. There shouldn't be any clicking. There shouldn't be any clicking or clacking. It should be smooth. So I'll do that, and once I've found them level, then I shall use a crowning tool, and we'll get them all nice and smooth and even. and with a nice hump on them. The fret ends are absolutely as smooth as a baby's. They're really fabulous. So I'll get on with that and I'll see you in a couple of takes. So that's the frets all levelled up and looking lovely and shiny now. So we'll just get this back on the instrument, and then it's just scratch plate and strings. I think that should be it. I'm impressed with the pickups. They're popping absolutely plenty out. So, oh yes, and we'll see if we can put the neck plate on in the correct orientation. Won't be terribly difficult. Four. And oh, what's that? Just make sure that they're all honed nicely. Super. Hey, 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 happy days. Right, strings. So, ding dong, Avon calling. And so I'm glad, to be honest with you, that I persevered with this rather than just trying to bung another body on it, because it's turned out rather well. And so my test is for fret leveliness is to bend each string on each fret. And make sure that it's not choking anywhere. And to be fair, I put a bit of a shifting on this one, but it has absolutely paid off. The string height we've got down to absolute perfection. I've swapped a pickup ring because the original one that was in was too tall. Now that I've dropped the strings down, as it turns out, I did put a shim in the neck to bring the angle absolutely where we wanted it to be, and I've got to tell you, it plays brilliantly. But what I found out is this: is that I reckon that the reason that, because I've done a lot of these 70s Antorias, Avons, Saxons, Columbus, all that kind of caper from those days, and the fret, and I always bang on about how brilliant the fretwork is and how modern manufacturers could take a leaf out of their book. And I've now found out why old Japanese guitars have got such brilliant fretwork. It's because some old lad in England has spent a couple of hours sorting it out. So I'll see you on the next one. Adios amigos. Ta-ra.